Welcome, everybody. My name is Ryan Porter Sosa, and this is the sound of Sosa. Today, I'm joined by CYD Jose, also known as Jose Quintanilla. Go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself, just to start out with.
Yeah, my name is Jose Quintanilla, aka CYD Jose. I do a few different things. I'm an influencer, I would say. Um, I wouldn't necessarily. I would say I was gonna say entrepreneur, but I wouldn't really say that. But
I mean, you're starting it. You got
I'm
to start
starting it.
somewhere. So,
Yeah,
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 no, call yourself an entrepreneur. CYD is your thing, man.
yeah. No, so I gotta. It started off with like a clothing brand. Honestly, I was trying to figure out a way to like grow myself, promote myself, but I also wanted to like help other people feel motivated and you know, while people like support my business, they can also feel like they're showing who they are as well. So that's like how the clothing brand idea started, making the hoodies for the chase your dreams, stay motivated, but it's also like a jersey hoodie on the back. So it's like you pick the numbers you want to represent who you are. You want to put your last name on the back or any social media tag to promote yourself. Yeah, you could do that too. So I started off with that honestly. And then I also do I'm my dad's business partner as well for his snakes, for his morphin type business actually, which
Okay.
you had him before in the
Yeah.
episode.
Yep.
So I help him as much as I can with that. And then I'm also currently training so I can have a debut fight in sometime in spring, hoping for April for MMA. So I got a lot of different things going for myself. I like to create content. I like to make gym content as well. I like to stay in shape, motivate others. I'm really big about discipline. It's gotten me really far in life, and also very big on God. So like that's a little about me.
No, that's awesome, dude. I hear a little weirdness in my voice, but it's all right. No, I'm a Christian down, and when I saw your post today, I was like, oh man, that's what's up. And I'll never push religion onto anybody,
Hmm.
but I will always spread the word of how God influences my life and
Yeah,
how God works in my life. And I hope through that people can become interested, do their own research, and decide for themselves from an educated standpoint whether they want to believe or not. I know I know a lot of people don't like when people say this, but in my head, I know that Jesus Christ died on a cross for us, and that me believing in Him and nothing else will get me to heaven.
correct.
And I know that I'm a sinner, and I know that I can never not be a sinner, and because of that, I just look for Him for guidance. But there's things that have happened in my life that, man, I just can't explain. Like, just one really quick was, there was a discussion with a bar patron at work, and I got him this course. We were talking about the pyramids. He's like, "So, what are your thoughts on circumcision?" I was like, "Oh, okay." I mean, I was like, "I don't think it's necessary." Blah blah blah. I think it's a religious thing, and I think it actually is. It's technically the equivalent of cutting out a clitoris. I know it's a little weird to talk about that, but it's the truth. It's mutilation, and in
Yeah,
my eyes, God created a perfect body. Why would He want us to mutilate it? Those people believe that, go ahead and do it. You know what I mean? And so then that later that day, my reading in the Bible was actually on Genesis and Abraham's covenant with God and getting every man in his place circumcised.
yeah,
I was like, dude, that's too much of a coincidence. That's God working in my life. You know what I mean? And
correct.
so, no, I support that 100%, man. That's awesome. Actually, there's a there's a quote in the Bible. I'm gonna grab it really quick. That it made me think of you when my pastor said it um the other day. Let me grab it. Or Jose, you want to hand it to me? And I don't normally do stuff like this, but it made me when I saw you at church earlier today, it made me think of it. It says, what is it? It's 2 Timothy, verse 15. So it's work hard so you can present yourself to God and receive His approval. Be a good worker, one who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly explains the word of truth. Avoid worthless, foolish talk that only leads to more godless behavior. And we do some worthless talk on here, so yeah, but as well, I don't stack my sins up against anyone else's, so please don't do it to me. But just the work hard part made me think of you because I was going through all your reels, and you honestly give me motivation, and so I truly do
Yeah,
appreciate that. And it's I think your dad could even probably second this, that I think you kind of motivated both of us to kind of get a little more active with stuff and shit like that. It's kind of like a trickle down effect. And so just knowing that you've helped two people, and I guarantee there's plenty more people that are probably on that live right now or that are on your TikTok that you have helped. And so keep doing what you're doing with that for sure. um to kind of circle back, I know that you said you do have a debut fight coming up, hopefully in spring. What got you into MMA, and when did you start training?
okay,
Even if it was
so
just like going to, I went to karate as a kid, even, you know what I mean? Like,
mhm.
we can go back as far as, I mean, when I was gonna make a joke about you being your daddy's nutsack, but and they're doing karate kicks and shit. No, but I got the utmost respect for fighters. So yeah, just go ahead as far back as you want to go.
I mean, it started in high school actually.
Okay, that's
I
no
was
problem
never
with that.
really into sports growing up. I've always like tried different things. Like I tried soccer when I was like first, second grade.
Okay,
I did baseball in like seventh grade. I tried out for a basketball team. I did flag football for fifth and sixth grade, but like I wasn't really good at it, you know? Like I was just that kid that everybody like, oh, if someone didn't make it to the game today or if someone was injured, then I guess they'll throw them in the game type of person, you know? Then that's when I tried out wrestling in high school, my freshman year. And the reason I wanted to try wrestling out because I was always a big WWE fan originally. And when I was younger, I was like, "Oh, I want to be a WWE wrestler. That's what I want to be when I grow up."
hmm
And then I found out it wasn't real.
Well, okay, so it isn't real, but to an extent it is. Like they're still taking light hits. They're
Yeah,
still jumping
yeah,
on that board. They're getting their fucking ass beat, dude.
yeah,
And so there's this, and people died. I mean, the Braveheart brothers, the one
yeah,
fell from the
yeah, oh, yeah,
Raptors, broke
yeah.
his neck, dude. I had a signed action figure of him, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to it. Brothers probably stole it. Fuck you guys. Um, yeah, y'all know who you are. Um, yeah, sorry, but no, yeah, I did. I used to love Sting, man. Sting was my guy.
Yeah,
Sting was the shit. So no, yeah, but yeah, it isn't real completely. So yeah, but I do get where you know what I mean. You wanted to
yeah,
be live with it, so
yeah. I mean, like I understand. Yeah, and I understood like everyone took hits, but like I thought it was like I didn't know there was scripts of it when I was younger. Like it's all like a script. It's all planned out for the most part.
yeah,
And for me, I want to do something that was like real. And on top of that, I've always wanted to do something like sports related. And I found out wrestling, like real wrestling was like in high school.
yeah.
And going into high school year, I actually wrestled with one of the best wrestlers on the team just for fun. Like I didn't know he was a wrestler. Everyone was like, "Oh, let's go on the trampoline." And they're
School
like,
hard
"Oh,"
knocks.
and his name was Raul actually.
Okay,
Really good wrestler. He was like 6'1" African French dude. Yeah,
African French.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so he's from North Africa. Is that what? Is that where the French colonies were? Or
I can't really remember necessarily, but I know he wasn't born here. But he
okay.
moved out there, and he was a good friend. He was a good role model too. But yeah, I wrestled with him in the trampoline, and it was fun. Obviously, he won. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm over here
Oh, so you
doing
guys were like in someone's backyard.
my backyard,
Oh
back in
shit.
the city. Yeah.
Oh shit.
So we wrestled or whatever, and it just I found out he was an actual wrestler, and then he kind of told me he's like, "Hey, you should try wrestling and stuff for the high school." I was a little worried about it at first, you know, because wrestling isn't like a sports team. Like it is, but it isn't. Because when you go out there, you have teammates you can rely on for other sports. Wrestling, you
It's you're all by
win,
yourself. Yeah.
you win.
You
You lose,
lose.
you lost. You
Yeah.
know. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, no, I got into wrestling my freshman year, and it was a big motivation. It was a big moment for me. I won my first ever match that I had too. So it was a really great feeling. I never knew what that type of feeling was to like win something and have people cheer for me and just have that motivation and just have something I could feel proud of. Like something like I found like I discovered more of myself.
Yeah.
So throughout high school, from my freshman year to my junior year, I wrestled. And I wrestled varsity all 3 years. So but my senior year, I didn't get to wrestle only because I graduated early because I just wanted to get out of high school already. I just didn't like school. School wasn't for me.
No, I get it, man. Trust me. Yeah, I got out of there as quick as possible too.
So I got out of high school early. I graduated early my senior year, and then
Nice.
after that, I kind of fell off the rails a bit, you know. So like I wasn't really in shape because when COVID happened,
Yeah.
I gained a lot of weight.
Okay.
So I wrestled for
Wouldn't
like
be able to tell
different weight.
now.
Yeah, yeah. So I wrestled a few weight classes in high school: 132, 138, 145, 150, and once it was 153 and 160.
How
So
many weight classes are there in wrestling?
that's a
It's funny
lot.
because my brother wrestled in junior high and was like he took state a couple times, and I still don't know shit about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it starts off like the lowest weight class is 106 pounds, and it goes all the way up to like heavyweight, which is like 220 plus.
And so, what are what are like the gaps? Like, what is a 10 pound gap or something like that? Or like, is there?
Typically, yeah, it's a
Okay.
10 pound gap. It can be like during like the holidays. Sometimes the weights fluctuate, so people can eat a little more. You know.
Really?
Yeah.
It adjusts like that? Does it just like
Sometimes.
so? Like, the only thing that comes out of wrestling is Olympic medals, and you can do
Yeah.
stuff with that. Unfortunately, it's one of the toughest sports out there and the least rewarding, which is really messed up.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
people are gonna start making fun of me because I always reference Joe Rogan's podcast, but like it's really one of the only ones that I actually ever watched. And do watch. I watch Russell Brand too, and like Glenn Greenwald, but he talks. I think it was Kurt Engler who was the wrestler.
Kurt Angle.
Yeah, who was the wrestler and broke his neck and still
Yeah.
freaking won.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. That's incredible. Very strong person, and so it's insane that I think there should be more given to it. You know what I mean? I think people should be able to make a living out of that because that sport deserves more recognition than it gets.
Yeah, and it's actually like statistically, if you search it up, it's the most dangerous and hardest school in sport in high school and college.
I could see
Like
that.
me, my sophomore year, I actually got whiplash from
Oh
wrestling.
shit! Really?
Yeah, like I was in a neck brace for a couple weeks when it happened. I couldn't walk for like the first few hours that it happened to me. But yeah, there's definitely high risk, but it's also high reward if you really make it far.
Yeah.
But after that, I just kind of fell off the wagon for COVID. I gained weight. I lost myself. I had like, I just, I had a pretty big downfall, I would say, mentally and
Okay.
physically. Like
A lot
those,
of people did, man. You can't take a
yeah,
socialistic society and cage them up and then expect everyone to come out okay. Um, there needs to be things done to help people, and then on top of it, you add people having health issues because of secondary effects of the vaccine, and then on the opposite side too, people just have now this inherent mental incapability to get back from it. And
yeah,
thankfully enough, it seems like you are back from it. And it
hmm
even took me. I mean, I was climbing up the goddamn walls. And I say that all the time because I really was. I was in a bad place after COVID and during COVID because I am a very socialistic person. Um, you know what I mean? Like I spent hours talking to people on here, and like I couldn't imagine if I had this, I'd have been so good. You know what I mean? Like if I'd have been able to have this outlet, I'd have been fine. And it's so for me, I was able to come back through it, thankfully. And obviously you were too. But what is that? What kind of helped you get back?
was doing, yeah, like I started going into boxing
Okay.
and I started training more boxing. Like, I
Where'd you
mean,
Where'd you start boxing at?
I can't remember the first time I started boxing. My sophomore year, I was actually training some boxing and wrestling.
Okay.
So that was the first time I tried boxing. Was at some like local gym where if you lived in the area, you get to train for free type of
That's good.
deal.
Nice
Yeah,
youth
so
program.
I was able to do that, and it got me into it. It got me like down with the basic fundamentals and etc. But I would say it was just about, to be honest, like when I got serious about it, like probably like 10 months ago. But I would say 2020 was like the year I like started trying more boxing and different things, and it was a good experience. But I didn't have my head on my shoulders. My head was still in the gutter, so I wasn't really focused. So I would say by 2022 is when I really started training more.
Okay.
Um, but 2023 is when I really like locked in. Like I started training for this at this one gym called Top Notch MMA in Villa Park.
And when was this?
This was probably about like 10 months ago now,
Okay.
and I trained there for a while. They have a lot of good fighters. They actually had two different fighters that have made it to the UFC. Ricardo Lamas and Mike Santiago. So they're a really good fight gym, and they also have current fighters there. But it was like I went in there only being like a wrestler in basic boxing,
Okay.
and but like I didn't know that that gym was like a hardcore fight gym. So like they go in there and they're trying to knock your head off.
Yeah.
So like these are
It's
like
hard to learn there. It's
professionals.
hard to learn like that though.
Yeah. So I went in there and I've gotten probably a few concussions without a doubt just being in there.
You gotta be careful, man, because yeah, like just from even head banging and like all different types, like you can get concussions. Like I'm pretty sure my head's pretty messed up from all the years of fighting that I had because I did train in high school at a gym called Victory in Orland.
Hmm.
I for about maybe 2 years, 2.5 years. And I got my ass whooped a lot. That was about it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't do anything, and that's kind of like I had gotten my buddy referenced it in the last podcast. I think it's an episode in part 3 of it, so people will see it then. But I got in a fight with my buddy, and then afterwards went and trained and ended up shattering my nose and double hairline fracture of my cheekbone. And it's funny because I just went back to Northwestern
Mm.
and I was able to see all the documents from back in the day when it was. and maybe I'll clip some of it in here so people can see.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I actually figured out that I as well had an orbital fracture. I was like, damn, I didn't even know that. And
Yeah.
so that ended everything for me. I was like, you know what, I'm done. I was lucky enough to keep my face shape,
Hmm.
so I didn't have too much to do, but it was still sneezing, breathing, everything hurt, dude. I was like, okay, I'm done, man. So you gotta make sure you're wearing headgear, and when you train, you gotta make sure you're training with someone that actually can give you a pace that you're gonna learn at. Not that we're gonna, and there is school of hard knocks, and I do believe in that, but I also do believe that you know training with someone probably a little bit higher up, and I'm no expert at all, so I take this or leave this, anyone listening. I would rather train with someone that's able to give me a true 50% than someone that's going to say we're at 50% and they're giving me 90, like whooping their ass.
No, I
So,
mean you're completely right on that. That's why I'm training with my coach I am now. Like
yeah.
I wouldn't go back and change the fact that I trained in
Oh, no,
hard
yeah.
spars because it
Yeah.
taught me a lot, and I
You
know how to
learn
take a
quickly.
hit. Like I know what it's like to be dropped by liver shots, head kicks. I know what it's like to be cracked on the like.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know what it's like to be
It's not,
hurt.
it
You
hurts
know,
just saying it.
tapped out, put in
Liver
submissions.
punch.
It's not fun, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a learning experience, and like after all that hard sparring, it made me a lot tougher. So like I don't flinch from like punches as much anymore. Like
That's
I'm very
good.
more comfortable with it,
Yeah.
So that's why I'm training with my coach now, who's now at a UFC gym in Yorktown, UFC Yorktown.
UFC Yorktown.
Yeah, so that's in
Shout out to UFC Yorktown. Where they do you have
Lombard, Illinois is where it's located.
nice.
Like
Okay.
DuPage County. So it's out there. It's a really good gym. Usually all UFC gyms, not to like shit on them or anything. Usually all of them aren't that good. Usually there's just a Joe Blow who's just trying to get a paycheck. But no, that gym has good trainers. They
That's
have
awesome,
really
dude.
good
No,
trainers.
that's
And
good.
my coach, he's had a lot of professional fights. He's 31. Um, but he knows my fighting style, and he does what you say. Like he'll give me a good 50%.
That's good. Yeah, you
And
need that.
like he won't like try to knock my head off, but he'll still hit me.
Yeah.
He's training me. He's
Well, yeah.
training me because he even said he's like top notch MMA is good for every here and there. He's like, but they do try to knock your head off when you go in there. But like I said, I got to give it up to them because they're animals in there. Like they got a few fighters in there that are fighting currently. My one boy, there's this one fighter. I think it's Matt. I'm not mistaken. He's the heavyweight. He's the one that head kicked me too.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
But he's 2-0 right now. He's fighting for like a
Nice.
championship for like
Congrats to him. What was his
for
name?
Matt.
Matt what?
Um, I'm not, I'll check it after
Yeah,
that. I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember,
I'll
but
clip it in here. I'll put his name in there somewhere. Let me write it
yeah,
down.
but
I just want to give him a
he
shout out because that's what's up, man.
yeah, no,
Anyone
yes.
doing good deserves the recognition, I believe. So
Yeah, no, he's 2-0 right now in 2 32nd round first knockouts. So he's doing really
first round
good.
knockouts.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so
I wonder if it's online. If you can find a video of it too, let me know. We'll clip it in here.
oh yeah, no, there's videos. Like I can get videos for all these things that I'm
Yeah.
talking about or like
That's
content.
awesome, dude. Okay.
But yeah, huge shout out to my coach especially though, because he helps me a lot. He knows my type of fighting style. He knows my weaknesses, my strengths. He studies it, and he really knows what I need to work on, what I'm naturally gifted at. So he's a great coach, and he's also there for me as like a friend as well. He's not even just a coach; he's like a brother to me.
That's awesome, dude. No, because that's what you really need too. You need someone that's gonna help you out. So as far as like his diet, does he help you out with like your diet and stuff like that, and like your nutritional side of it?
No, I have that all figured out myself.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I just
so
wasn't
like,
sure. Like, okay,
I mean, I got to eat a certain way because I have like a lot of health problems actually.
okay.
Like, I have gastritis, and I have it like really severe though.
I
Like,
don't know if you could explain what that is, or if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't
so
have
it's
to.
like basically an overload, like an overbuildup of stomach acid.
Oh, really?
Like
Okay.
you produce a certain amount of stomach
So you
acid.
have to get a more
So like
basic diet then.
yeah, because like
Okay.
things that trigger me are spicy foods, acidic foods, fried foods, processed foods, and I'm lactose intolerant, so nothing dairy helps either. So I'm like very strict. I eat a lot of plant based foods, lean beefs and meats, and
Yeah.
white rice, bland foods. Most
S-
of my food is like
Do you stick more towards chicken because of the grease content from red meat?
yeah. So like if I eat too much red meat or like what is it like carnitas? Oh, I love it, but it could hurt me. Like it hurts my stomach. Greasy food triggers my stomach, and like the levels they told me of gastritis, like I don't just have just like regular gastritis. Like oh, if I eat here and there, I'll get like stomach pains. Like they did tests on me, and they said my gastritis levels are equivalent to people that are between the ages of 40 to 60,
Oh wow.
and I'm only 19. And I was like, is there any way to fix it? And they basically told me I'm stuck like this.
So we could talk more about this off camera too, but I have some things that I think that I know of off top of my head that I can help you with. I just don't want to talk about them on here because I don't. I need to look up a lot of stuff but I have an idea that of things that's something that could help you.
Okay.
Um, some doctors that they're conventional, but it's all out of pocket because of some new regulations that are out. But I think there's some things that we could find to maybe help that situation out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, I'll give you the information. You research it yourself, and you make the
Yeah.
decision. I think it's always worthwhile to look at other perspectives. And these guys are all doctors. You know what I mean? They're all certified. They're all experts in their field.
Hmm.
Take that or leave that for whatever it means. But yeah, we'll talk about that more later. Just because there's other like I have relatives with like Crohn's and stuff like that, and there's things out there for them to help them. And
Hmm.
so I can't imagine there's not something that we could find that will actually get to the root cause of what's actually doing it and try to get that switched. Because, with epigenetics, there's something controlling everything in your genetics, turning them on and off. So if we can get something to turn on what helps your stomach stay more basic,
Yeah.
why not give it a shot? You know what I mean? As long as it's safe, obviously. Um, but yeah, we'll talk more about that later.
Hmm.
So your diet. Okay, so with me, I've been trying to do a lot of red meat lately, and I know I talk too much, people. Whatever. But it's honestly made me feel really good, and like I don't get as tired, I don't get bogged down, and then when I do go eat carbs, dude, I can feel it, and it's almost like carbs are a drug. It's really messed up, like how you withdraw from them. It's like you fiend for them too, dude. Like it's worse than my nicotine addiction. Like it's bad.
Yeah.
But so how did you refine your diet then, even with your health issues? Like how did that has to be so hard? And you're a pretty in shape person, man. Like
Yeah.
I live and let live. I believe that, but I am not gay, but you are a good looking guy
Yeah.
and you are in shape, man. So bravo to you. So
Yeah.
how does your diet help you get to that?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not really complaining about it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, for example, if I eat like even a medium bag of chips, I eat one of those, I'm gonna be sick for 2 days. Like, I'm talking about throwing up my water that I even drink. Like, it's
Really?
bad. But like,
That's
I
I'm
kind
sorry,
of
man.
people tell me like, dang, I feel bad for you. At the same time, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I want to eat the same food other people eat, but I kind of see it like as like a blessing disguised as a curse because I'm forced to eat healthy. I'm forced to eat natural foods. It's like God's will. God's showing me like, hey, this is what you need to eat. This is how you need to live your life. And because of that, I'm a lot healthier than people. People are like, how do you have so much energy? How do you stay in shape? How can you do this? How you can do that? I'm like, well, my diet's great. Like you wanna like working out and eating healthy are just as important. If
Yeah.
anything, eating healthier is more important than working out because you can have a shit diet and go work out. That working out's not gonna do nothing for you. And even then, if you have a shit diet and you're working out, you're gonna feel like shit when you work out. So
Makes it
and
a lot harder.
yeah. So I mean, I feel great. Like I'm not necessarily upset about the fact that I have gastritis because, like I said, it keeps me in check. It
Yeah.
keeps me moving forward. Reminds me that I don't need to be eating all this extra bullshit and crap.
Yeah.
So typically, it at first it was hard. You get a little sad about it at first because they're so used to eating those foods and they're
Yeah.
like they're good. Like
No,
any like chips, fast food, fried foods, spicy foods. Like even a lot of my grandma's cooking, I can't eat it no more.
that's horrible.
So it
And
does
grandma's
suck.
cooking's always the best, dude.
Yeah. So
Especially Hispanic grandmas. Shout out all you Hispanic grandmas out there. And to you,
grandma
grandma,
Narcisa.
there you go. And Grandma Maria on my side, dude. She whooped. I was living down with her, dude. I didn't miss a meal, man. I had breakfast ready for me in the morning, a lunch packed, and I would come home to dinner. It was the greatest, like, 2 months of my life.
Yeah.
I never had that growing up, really. I did up until like third grade.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was nice to have it again as an adult. I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. Love you, Grandma. She's freaking still mows her own lawn, dude. She's a straight up gangster, bro. Like, don't mess around with her. Um, but no, that has to be really hard, dude. That really does, because I feel for you on that. But your dad knows this because I inhale food. I'm of the belief that food is a waste of time. I love me some good food, but to me, it's giving the most nutrient dense food that I can eat the quickest. I just
Yeah.
inhale it. Boom, boom, boom. And that's why I love eating meat because I can just eat like a pound steak and I'll be good for like 4 hours. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I mean, it's probably longer, but um, I can't wait to actually buy my cow and then get some deer meat and try to start jerking some stuff so I can always have like a little snack on hand. And I'm gonna try and go for 6 months of eating all meat. I'm gonna try and live more by what should be available naturally. to try and reduce the amount of preservatives that my body's intaking. So like only food that can be grown at that time. Like I'm gonna start trying to grow all my own vegetables. Supposedly we could grow on our land if you have like a quarter-acre plot. Um, you can grow enough food to sustain yourself the winter for a 4-person family. And so I'm gonna try and do it to where maybe give me a couple months in the winter, but just so I have more fresh, natural food with the least amount of preservatives I can do. And so yeah, like you said, it's like what 80% diet, 20% fitness.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. Like I know people that don't even work out, but their diet's great and they feel healthy, amazing.
Yeah,
Like, but at the end of the day, working out is it's more so for people that want to put muscle on, they want to look good, they want to feel confident. I think it's also just as important though to have that strength and that, you know.
you need to. You need to stay fit. You need at least 30 minutes of activity a day minimum. And
Oh yeah,
that's for everybody. And then as well, everyone should be stretching every morning and every night. And because you will feel so much better, people. It's just like to me with praying. People make fun of religions and stuff like that. What I challenge anyone to do is pray for 10 days, morning, bedtime, and at meals, and tell me you don't feel better. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I challenge anyone to do that. And if you don't, then okay, but I know it helps me. And what people don't realize too is what we say actually does have an effect on our body. What we say, what we think, what we believe, what we eat, what we see, all the stimuli around us has effects on our genetics and epigenetics, constantly turning things on and off. And so your whole like you are literally the epitome of what I wished I could have been back in the day a little bit more. I don't regret anything because it shaped me into who I am today. But you not only encompass your mind because you speak very well, you sound intelligent, and then as well you have your body covered, and then your spirit. So it's like you have the whole trifecta all covered,
yeah.
and it's great that you have it at such a young age. And don't ever be afraid if you lose a little bit of it, because losing a little bit of it is going to give you a whole lot more afterwards again. And it's going to happen. Everyone goes through downfalls. You know what I mean? And so it's
Oh
not
yeah.
about not trying to go through those. It's about making sure when you get into those, you got yourself a way out. And it sounds like you've built a very strong foundation in order to do that. And so again, I just want to commend you. Bravo on everything you're doing. But back to like the fighting thing. So you that it was about 10 months ago you started going to the UFC Lombard. And so we're looking at after a year you'll actually start you're gonna do your first fight, is pretty much, right?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Is there any information that you have on it now, or is that all TBD?
At the moment, not too much information. My coach is trying to figure out which show he wants me to fight on. There's a few different ones, but obviously he has to do more research. He has to find someone that has just getting started or
The
little to
skill
none
level.
experience.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to go in there and go against someone who's like 5-0. Yeah,
Yeah, get
no,
dropped. Yeah, there's
yeah,
no
I'm
point.
good.
Yeah, there's no point in doing that.
So like I'm aware, like I'm pretty confident in my skills and ability, but I know I'm not that high of class yet.
Yeah,
Like
everyone has to learn.
exactly. So I mean, I'm confident. Even my coach told me he thinks I'll do great in amateur. I do work for it. Like I'm talking, and I run 3 miles 3 to 4 times a week, and then I'm also training like 3 to 4 times a week if I can, two minimum, and then I'm also like weightlifting as well about like 3 times a week. So I'm always trying to stay in good shape. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people see how much I work out and typically they're like, "Oh, how are you not so big?" I don't train to be a body lifter or like a power lifter or anything of that sort. I'm training to be a fighter. I need to be explosive. I need to be quick. I need to be agile. I need to be able to just
Move.
move,
Yeah.
and which is important. Like I've sparred against dudes that don't have no fighting experience or grappled and wrestled that are like way bigger than me. I think the biggest dude I went against was 220 pounds. And me and him had like we grappled. He was like 220 pounds, and I won. Like I didn't beat him by pin, but like by points statistically. If we're talking about like if there was points, like it was obviously in practice, whatever. But
Yeah.
I had the upper hand, and it's just all about experience. Honestly, it's all about technique. Like size doesn't really matter in that aspect.
Yeah. No, you need to be more. You need to be more agile. Sorry. Oh, like one sec. You need to be more agile, especially with jiu-jitsu. It's like moving like water, And
Yeah,
then
like
judo, you're using the person's power against them. Um, and so that's very important. When I never wanted, still don't want to be big. Um, just because the older you get, the harder it is to maintain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, as I get older, I'll probably, you naturally do get bigger, but you're definitely in the right state of mind. Do high reps, low weight. You know what I mean? You'll build lean, dense muscle then at that point, and that's the way I always try to go. I switch it up though, um, so my body doesn't plateau.
Hmm.
Um, so what I'll do is like for 2 weeks I'll do high reps, low weight, and then for the next 2 weeks I'll do high weight, low reps, and there's only a variation of maybe four between
Yeah.
those two. So it goes from 10 to 6, and then maybe or 12 to because I'll jump. The first week will be 10s, and then the next week will be 12s, and then the next week after that will be fives, and then sixes for the next week, and I'll go back to 10s and 12s,
Yeah.
and that's reps. I'm saying, um, unfortunately, my whole issue is I have neck issues and a back issue, that I am waiting to get repaired with stem cells, something called disc cell they do down in Texas in the uh, cervical area, and
Hmm.
hopefully then I'll be able to actually get back to it consistently. Because what happens is I end up doing something, I tweak it, and then I can't do anything for like 3 months or
Yeah.
8 weeks or something like that in order for it to try and let it heal. So that's a whole different story with me. But how do you stop yourself from plateauing, like with your resistance training and stuff like that, and like your running and things?
Like I said, it's hugely diet.
Okay.
Like with the way I eat, and it's also with getting sleep. Like I'm not gonna lie, there's some days where I get like little to none sleep because I'm doing so much, or I'm just so wide awake
Yeah.
because I'm so used to doing so much that my brain's at like 100 miles per hour right when I'm trying to sleep. So
I get that.
it's all about just your rest, honestly. As long as you're getting like minimum, like to have consistent energy, minimum 8 hours, eating healthy, eating the right foods, all that stuff gives you extra energy. Like even with like for example, my coffee. I love black coffee, black iced tea. I like stuff like that. That's a lot more natural. Just things that
Yeah.
give me natural energy, but none of that extra sugar or carbs or none of that extra bullshit. So
I'm a sugar whore.
yeah, so like it's all about the way you take care of your body, honestly, and it's mental. Because if I'm gonna be realistic with you, your mind gives up way before your body does.
Oh
Like
yeah.
you could be tired, but like you got a couple more hours and you got a few more hours in you, but you just don't feel like it.
Yeah.
But once you keep going and going and you push past that mental breaking point, you realize you got so much more potential. Like it's all mind games. At the end of the day, like people always like are trying to change things around their life and trying to change other people. They're trying to change what they can around them, but the only thing you can change for sure is your brain and your mindset, yourself.
Yep.
You can't change how the world works. You can't change how other people think or how they're going to treat you. You can't change any of that. You just got to worry about changing how you think, how you perceive things, how you change your perspective on life. It's all about perspective. It's all about discipline, and it's all about how you carry yourself as well.
Yeah, because all that affects,
Hmm.
that has the same amount of effects, as the working out does, is the mental part of it. Um, one thing that I found is putting a sticky note like on the mirror in the
Yeah,
morning. I That helps me so much. Just seeing that thing in the morning when you wake up, like, hey, you got this today. It's just like, okay, yeah, I do.
yeah. And another reason, like, I'm also big on God is because there's a lot of times I'm pretty sure everyone, like, regardless how many like smiles, hugs are around you, or even if you're by yourself, you just feel so alone. You feel dark sometimes. Sometimes you just feel like you have nothing, even when you have everything.
Yeah.
But I always remind myself that I got God. I know everyone's not big on religion, but that keeps me going. Like every time I feel like I start to slowly feel negative and be like, I feel so alone. I instantly remind myself, like, I got God with me. He's watching over me. I'm not alone.
He walks
And at the end of
closely.
the day, it's like it's good. It's good to be social. It's good to have that part of you that where you can interact with others and you can
Yeah.
put yourself out there. It's very important. I'm not saying it's good to isolate yourself because that's really unhealthy for your mind, but it's
Hmm.
also really good to learn how to be happy with yourself. Like take yourself out for coffee, go out and eat by yourself. Like a lot of people I see all the time when I go out to eat with people sometimes, like friends, it could be anybody in general, but they'll see someone eating alone and be like, "Oh, look at this dude eating alone," or it'd be like, "Oh, I wouldn't like to do that." I'm like, "Well, I'm pretty sure that person's a lot happier than you are." Like, if you can go out and just enjoy time by yourself, you can be happy at any time.
Yeah.
regardless who's around you, who wants to come. Because at the end of the day, people are gonna come into your life, people are gonna go, people are gonna choose to stay, they can choose to leave. You can't control that. But at the end of the day, you always have yourself. Like I always tell people, the only person that can make your life better and change the way your life goes is yourself. The
Yeah.
only one that can fuck it up is yourself.
Yeah.
No matter what, whoever else you want to blame, oh, this past trauma or this person didn't help me in the past, or maybe if it's something with like your parents, even, and you're like, oh, well, I didn't get this type of love and affection growing up or whatever. No, at the end of the day, you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one thing. Like that's when I know I'm not the oldest. I know I'm 19, but I still consider myself like a young man. Like
I wouldn't have. I honestly would probably have placed you at like 25, dude.
yeah, like
Mentally, you're probably like a 25-year-old. You're definitely up there in age mentally, and that's a
yeah.
good thing, you know.
So I tell people it's just like it's just about how you carry yourself. Honestly, it's you only really got yourself.
Yeah, and all that adds to your ability. All the things you just said and your actual mindset makes you a superior athlete, I believe. Just because you have all these things backing you up, and you know whether you're religious or spiritual or atheistic or anything like that, you can still have the same mindset. There's something there that's helping us all.
Yeah.
I am of the belief we are each a piece of God, individual conscious pieces of God, and when we die, we do go back to it. And that's where we get these spoken ideas of being white little, almost like balls,
Of
and
spirit.
yeah, and that's us because we're each a little piece of God, and so we have these abilities that we've seen people do amazing things, absolutely incredible, unthought of things that people would have said were impossible, but we keep doing it. And
Yeah.
so as humans, we need to realize that we have a potential that's completely untapped still. There's
Hmm.
abilities to untap more of our brain power. And I'm not just talking through psychedelics, that's a quick route to it, but we've seen that music can make our brain light up like a freaking sun. There's different non-hallucinogenic fungi that do that as well. And I think that's how we even break through with our physical strength.
Hmm.
Your mind becomes stronger. There's a governor in everybody's, because our muscles are strong enough to break our bones.
Yeah.
Most people don't know that. That's where you get these like odd stories of like a mother lifting a car off a child. She does that, but what you don't hear about is she did that at the expense of almost breaking every bone in her body.
Hmm.
Because what there's something, it's like a governor in a car where your muscles actually have something in their brain telling them that, nope, can't go that strong, because they know it will break your bone.
Hmm.
But there's ways to break through that, and that's why you saying the mental part of it is so important, because if you know that you can mentally break through any type of plateau, then you're going to keep thriving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's going to be real important too, because you can be getting your ass whooped, and then you see, okay, I can keep doing this, or you understand that you can keep doing this, and you can reverse the whole entire, the trajectory of that fight, per se. Um, so when did you get into your whole CYD, the whole chase your dreams thing? Because I've always been a big believer in make yourself 1% better every day, and that I heard you talking about that talking about that on your TikTok. So I was like, oh, dude, that's awesome. That's something I say is 1% is so easy to thrive for. It could literally be making sure you wipe your ass a little bit better.
Yeah.
It could be as easy as that, or it could be as, hey, I'm gonna start cutting out a little bit of sugar every day. Instead of putting those 3 sugars, I'm gonna put 2,
Hmm.
because that shit's just bad for your fucking heart,
Oh yeah.
So, but what made you? When did CYD start, or and like actually physically get like become a thing, and then like when did you start thinking about it?
Yeah. It's funny you actually bring that up. Like the CYD idea, it started off with you know how like in high school you have your little friend groups and you're like, oh, we should have our own little friend group name, whatever.
Yeah,
So I have my little, my little group, my
you
little
know,
clique or
click.
whatever.
Yeah,
So I was just like, I thought of a name. I was like, oh, we should be CYD, and they're like, what's that mean? I'm like, chase your dreams. So it started off with like a little joke, and it always stood in my mind, the CYD thing. It was just
yeah,
always an idea. Like even when I had no business ideas, even when that friend group fell apart, it was just always in the back of my head at the most random times.
yeah,
And then just one day, my dad told me he was just like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna make hoodies for my Morphin Time brand," and I just thought about it, and I was like, maybe I should do something like that. And that's when I was just like, okay, let me just do it. Let me not just stop thinking about it. Let me just do it. And then one day I went to the mall, went and grabbed some random hoodies, and thought of a design, and just put CYD, chase your dreams, and just kind of just went with it. Like it wasn't necessarily something that I sat there and just thought of. It just came to me, to be honest with you. It was just an idea. I took the idea, I ran with it, and I did something with it, and it just took off from there.
Yeah.
So now I have like these different influencers and different people that are like getting the hoodies, helping represent my brand, and it's been an amazing process. It was a very long process, very like grueling discipline, because I make all my hoodies myself. No one helps me make my hoodies. Like
Yeah.
every single hoodie I make, I'm making it. Like the from typing out the designs to printing it out to cutting out the designs to applying. Um, so I'm doing all that myself.
Yeah.
Like I can get like 10 hoodies in one day, I got to do all of that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been a process, but I feel like there's no beauty without struggle, you know. So it's definitely been a blessing. It like I said, I don't. It just came to me. The idea just came to my mind, and I just did it. Like I sometimes I just look back and I'm just like surprised that I even like took that opportunity and just took it and ran with it. Because there's been so many times in my life I've thought of ideas. I'm like, oh, that'd be cool, and then it just becomes
It
another.
dissipates.
Yeah, it dissipates. But this
Yeah.
time it was just like, no, I'm gonna do it.
You made it
And it
into
was like
something, dude.
at first I was telling people about it, like, oh, I'm gonna make hoodies, this, that, and they're like, you sure that's what you want to do?
Everyone's
Yeah,
gonna have their opinion on
yeah,
it. Like people make fun of me for this, you know what I mean? Like everyone keeps telling me, "Oh, stop doing it so long, stop doing it so long." And I've broken it down to 1 hour parts
yeah,
just until I can get a more consistent flow of people.
yeah.
And so once I get that, I'll start making the videos longer and I'll start breaking it down. But I like the long form
Mm,
discussions. I like actually being able to hear someone and discuss things with them. And I don't think I could get to know someone as well as I can in 3 hours than I can in an hour. You know what I mean? And
mm,
it just honestly, it flies by. Like we've almost been talking for 45 minutes now, and it doesn't even seem like it, you know?
yeah.
And so I do think, there is something more to having these longer discussions and doing what you think you want to do and what makes you happy. Like I sat up for 36 hours editing videos and I was like, holy crap, been 36 hours. It felt like nothing. And and that's to me how I know I truly love it. And like you said, it's grueling work, but there's no
Makes
gain
you feel
without it.
good.
It does, because you know that you're the one doing all this stuff. And it's like, hey, I'm actually getting a response too from people. And
Hmm.
so it's like, to me, you've already accomplished something, because I'll be happy if I can help someone out of a dark place. If I can just help one person, no matter how I help them, then I know I'm happy with what I'm doing, because I love doing this. So it's not an expense to me. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, this is work. No, I enjoy it, and I'm gonna keep doing it until I don't enjoy it, and then we'll go from there. But um, no, that's awesome, man. So do you got all like the legal side set up for CYD, like the LLC and stuff like that? You got the trademark for it, because you need to get that.
Yeah, no. So I'm actually working on that in
Okay,
these
yeah, you
next
need to do
couple
that
weeks.
ASAP.
LSC, Celis permit, all that stuff. Because like I already have like also like the domain and stuff set up. Like I have
Yeah,
everything getting all set up and in plan. It's just I haven't really made a website yet. People go, you got a website, you got a website, and I'm like, I don't want to do that yet. Just 'cause realistically, my brand has grown a lot in these last 3 months of me starting it. It's only been 3 months since I've done it, and it's growing probably more than probably like 4 months now. But point is, it's growing fast, and I need all that stuff because I'd rather have a website and have all my stuff be legit than start a website and have the chance of being sued. You know,
yeah.
so I'm working on all that right now, and then yeah.
So we can sit down and talk about that later, though. But yeah, so but that would be the first thing, because once you have that, you're pretty, the other stuff you can pay for.
Mhm.
But if someone takes that from you, you can't use that shit at all. You know what I mean? You have to adjust it. I'm sure there's a little way we could adjust it, but um, yeah, just to safeguard yourself, we definitely need to get that done for you. Um, but back to so you have what's the whole idea behind Chase Your Dreams? It's definitely like a wellness brand for sure, I would say. And then you got the clothing line. Do you do any other type of merch besides clothing?
So right now it's only hoodies, but as the
Okay.
springtime comes, because I do all my orders via DMs, you know, I have a lot of
Direct message,
customers
yeah.
that have purchased hoodies. Most of them, for the most part, have been posted and okay with it. So if like anybody has any like trust issues and like I don't know if I just want to buy a hoodie from this dude via DMs, have it shipped
Yeah.
out. There's people out there you can reach out and make sure. Like I've done hoodies for people that are in other states, other cities. I ship them out. I do all that. But right now it's only hoodies. 'Cause it's colder right now, so I kind of want to go by the seasons. It's a lot more. It's better business wise to go by the seasons of clothing, not just like I want to do this one because I want to do it. No, you gotta
Yeah.
be smart. You gotta do what you think people are gonna want to buy.
Yeah.
So springtime comes, I'm gonna be doing shorts, joggers. Probably not yet, but I'm gonna be doing shorts. I'm also gonna be doing tank tops for girls and then compression shirts, gym
Okay.
compression
Nice.
shirts.
Yeah.
So there'll be more things that I'm gonna be working on soon. But that's for the future to come. But yeah, right now it's just hoodies right now for
Yeah.
the time being.
So what are your thoughts on like embroidering and stuff like that? Yeah, because that's going to be expensive, obviously.
Oh
But
yeah,
like,
oh yeah,
um, is that something where you would want to delve into eventually?
oh yeah. Without a doubt, that's gonna be a little more in the future. Obviously, like right now, I'm pretty set. Like even my first ever customers, their hoodies are still intact, and this is from heat vinyl press transfer material. And everybody's hoodies are still together. No one's hoodies is falling apart. Everyone said the quality is great. So eventually, sometime in the future, once it grows more, I'm gonna be doing that. How do you pronounce it? Embroidering?
Embroidering?
Yeah, embroidering.
Yeah.
Yeah. So eventually, I want to do that just so it feels a lot more like longevity wise. The hoodie lasts longer, higher
Yeah.
quality, but that also means more money for higher expensive equipment, and which also means I got to rack up the prices for the hoodies because
Yeah.
that stuff's not cheap.
Oh yeah.
But right now, I think I'm at a good set point. But yeah, in the future, sometime I'm gonna want to do that for
The
sure.
hardest thing with embroidering too is like when I was a kid, I hated wearing embroidered shirts because it always like chafed my nipples.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know how the fuck you get around that, but you gotta try and figure that one out.
yeah. I mean,
It's I know it sounds so stupid, but no, it like I would hate it, dude. I would have to wear undershirt. You know what I mean? And
oh
like,
yeah, no, I completely understand. That's another reason I also like the heat vinyl transfer
yeah, because you
because
don't have to worry about that.
you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about that, and it's just it'll be better for like compression shirts too, and on top of that, it'd be better for shorts. I don't know, maybe the shorts better for embroidering, but definitely the compression shirts and tank tops I want to do.
Yeah.
You don't want stitching on that. No.
No, not a compression. See, but my only worry about doing the heat vinyl on a compression shirt is if you're doing anything like rolling or anything like that with it, it's gonna come off. So I would definitely warn people about that. Like, hey, this is a workout shirt. Don't wear this for anything that's contact because
Yeah,
it's gonna come. You know what I mean? It's going to. I have plenty of Under Armour shirts that have lost their tags because it's the same thing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so that's to me, people would be like, "Oh, I hate this shirt, all that stuff." It's like, well, dude, what the fuck were you doing with it? You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, come on, you got to expect it. So, and then
yeah,
maybe one thing you could do too is maybe on like create a page on a social media platform where people can go and leave you reviews for your sweater, so you can have people just check it. You know what I mean? Or even like
mhm,
a Yelp for yourself, just something
yeah,
like that's there that, or a Google reviews, and just say, "Hey, review this, and you can get $5 off on your next hoodie." You know what I mean? But an honest review, even if it's a bad one,
yeah,
just honest as can be. You know what I mean? And then maybe like a year out, like, hey, you do it again, you'll get another $5 off. That way, the longevity of it, you can kind of boast that as well.
yeah.
Just a thought pattern. Um, you know, take it or leave it. I'm no one of any esteem in any area, so I have a lot of thoughts in my head. Um, so if you could choose, which one would you rather have take off? Obviously, I think they would both uh accent to each other, but your clothing line or the mixed martial arts thing.
Okay, so realistically, I'm growing a clothing brand and trying to make that blow up financially wise, so I can work for myself,
Yeah.
so I can pursue fighting.
Okay. So it's one feeds the other.
Yeah.
You're
So
you'd make a good politician. That was a
so
good answer.
so that's exactly why I actually started the clothing brand because I want to fight. I want to fight.
Yeah.
Like my thing is, even if I don't even make it to the UFC, which not saying I can't,
Yeah.
I just love fighting. Like it's just something I just get this drive off of it. I just get
Seeing you
this.
smile and say that is such a like it's you can feel it. Like I can feel how happy it makes you just thinking about it. Like and that's how
Yeah.
I think you're gonna go far. I really do. I can see you doing very, very well because even if you lose, I don't see that discouraging you. I see
Oh
you
no.
taking that like, okay, this is what I did wrong. I'm gonna bounce back from this. So I definitely, yeah.
Yeah, like I even I tell myself like win or loss, and obviously I'm going for the win.
Yeah.
God already has everything planned out. If I have a loss, it's gonna be a learning lesson. I'm gonna come back stronger. If I have a win,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a learning lesson, and I'm still gonna come back stronger.
Hmm.
Regardless, I'm gonna be winning for myself. You know,
Yeah.
but obviously the goal is to go in there and dominate.
So where do you see yourself with your I guess your fighting career, and how fast do you want to try and progress with it? Because it's going to be under your control and how much time you dedicate to it. So where would you like to be in 5 years with it? Do you is that
Oh,
what's
pro
your 5 year?
without a doubt.
So how many years till pro you think?
Realistically, I give myself like 2, 3 years, maybe 3 years, 3 years probably.
Okay.
Yeah. So like right now, like obviously I'm gonna do amateur for a couple years,
Yeah.
but I'm my the goal's 3 years, 3 years, and I'll be pro.
Okay.
But right now, it's just I don't know. Like in my mindset, it's kind of I don't necessarily like to put a time frame on it
Yeah.
because if you think of things in the long process, you think of all the work you got to do, all the training you got to do, and it's very, it takes away that motivation and
Yeah.
it makes it harder to stay disciplined. So my goal right now, I just remind myself like first fight, first fight. After the first fight, second fight. After the second fight, third fight. After the third fight, fourth fight. That's all my mind's set on. I'm not necessarily worried on like when am I gonna go pro? How many wins do I want? How many knockouts do I want? I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah. I would say definitely don't try to think about how you're going to win the fight. That's for sure because
Oh yeah,
that'll mess with you.
yeah.
Um
Because then you're gonna be so fixed. How do you say it?
fixated.
Fixated
Yep.
on that one way of winning. So like I even asked my coach. I was like, "You think I should go in there and try to just like knock him out?" And he's like, "Bro, don't even think about it like that. It's just more like you go in there and you find the opportunities to take the chance to win, regardless if it's on the floor, standing up, right decision. Just the goal at the end of the day is just to win,
Yeah.
win, and don't get knocked out.
You don't get submitted, don't get choked out.
Yeah,
But if it happens, it happens. Obviously, you learn from it.
yeah.
Um, I'm gonna say let's take a break in just a minute here.
Hmm.
But we'll pick back up on the fighting part and discussing a little bit more about your fighting style and just all that stuff here in just a minute. Um, be sure, folks, we'll cut it here and we'll be back for part 2 next week. So just keep that in mind and make sure you turn on your notifications for Rumble. Is there anything you want to give a shout out to real quick?
I just say go show some support on my TikTok, CYDOZ, Instagram, same thing, CYDOZ, and it's also on YouTube. It's gonna be the same name, CYDOZ. Facebook as well. I have Facebook, which is gonna be Jose Quintanilla, and then on X, which used to be Twitter, I have it as CYD Business. So also go show some love to my dad. I'm his business partner, trying to help him grow that. It's gonna be Morphin Time, all social media platforms. Yeah, so go show some love to that.
We always appreciate it. And I will include all those links in the description so you can find them there. And just be sure to check out his live streams as well. It's always good to show some support. I can't talk, folks. Sorry. It's always good to show some support for that. We appreciate it, and we will see you guys again here next week. Take care, and God bless.